Humans are hella weird. We look at a tiny object and go, oh yeah, this protects my soul. A little red bracelet? Ha, protection. An Italian horn? Protection. A rabbit's foot? Luck. A candle lit by your grandmother in complete silence? And suddenly, the whole room feels spiritually protected. And somehow, we all understand it. No matter where you're from, every culture raised us on objects that meant more than the object itself. Tiny things carrying entire belief systems. Tiny things carrying memory, fear, protection, survival, love. And no cap, most of us still carry them. Maybe not physically, but psychologically. Because some objects don't just sit in our homes, they imprint themselves into us. Welcome to Fluent AF, the podcast where language, culture, identity, and inherited chaos collide. And today, we're talking about the secret language of objects. We were all raised on this, right? And here's what fascinates me. Every culture has different foods, different languages, different religions. But somehow, we all created lucky objects. We all decided, yeah, this tiny thing definitely controls my fate. And honestly, I kind of respect it. Because humans have always needed symbols, physical reminders that we're protected, that life has meaning, that madness can somehow be managed. For Italians, it's the cornicello, the little red horn protecting you from envy and bad energy. For others, it's evil eye bracelets, blue beads, saint medals, scapularies, rosaries, dream catchers, rabbit's feet, four-leaf clovers. And the craziest part, even when people stop being religious, they still keep the objects. Because these things stop being decoration. They become emotional inheritance. You don't even question them anymore. You just feel safer with them around. That's culture. Culture is when logic leaves the room, but the feeling stays. And on the real, a lot of us are still superstitious as hell. I am. I don't walk under ladders. Absolutely not. Why risk it? I don't like throwing trash out at night either. Too many cultures say it throws away prosperity, protection, energy. And honestly, I'm not playing myself. Because even when your rational brain says, that makes sense, your ancestral nervous system says, girl, don't do it. And that is fascinating. How many beliefs live in our bodies before they ever live in language? Because some of these traditions were never fully explained to us, we just absorb them. Don't open umbrellas indoors. Don't leave purses on the floor. Don't toast with water. Knock on wood. Throw salt over your shoulder. Cover mirrors after death. Wear red for protection. And some traditions get super specific. One listener told me their family threw baby teeth onto the roof for strong teeth and prosperity. And straight up, that's such a perfect example of how humans create meaning. A tiny tooth becomes symbolic. A roof becomes ceremonial. Childhood becomes ritualized. And every culture has some version of this. Some superstitions are tiny, some are deeply spiritual. Another listener told me if someone accidentally hits your feet with a broom while sweeping, you won't get married. I've heard this one my entire life. Another said their family throws a child's umbilical cord to the country they hope their child studies in one day. And that one stopped me for a second, because think about what's happening there. Love becomes ritual. Hope becomes physical. A parent literally throwing a future into the world. Another listener said that she can't live without her Virgen de Guadalupe candle for protection. And another talked about egg cleanses for the evil eye, rolling an egg over the body and reading the energy through the cloudiness afterwards. We used to do this for New Year's too. And what really fascinates me is none of these practices sound strange when you grow up around them. They feel normal, sacred even. And that's how culture works. Not through logic first, through repetition. emotion, memory, trust. Little acts that sound strange out loud, but feel completely normal when you grow up inside them. Why? Nobody knows, but everybody obeys. And somehow these tiny rituals become emotional landmarks in our lives. The smell of a candle burning during a storm. Your grandmother touching a saint medal before traveling. A parent hanging something protective near the front door. Those moments stay in us. They transport us home. Back to kitchens, back to childhood, back to family members who believed so deeply in invisible energies that eventually we started believing too. Objects hold memory because objects are never just objects. That's the thing. A spoon can become sacred because your grandmother used it every morning. A cafetera becomes part of your family mythology. A rosary hanging from a rearview mirror suddenly feels more powerful than the car itself. These objects witness our lives, and humans attach memory to objects almost automatically. That's why certain things instantly transport us. A certain perfume, a specific plate, a couch nobody was allowed to sit on, a plastic covered remote control. The good dishes only used when guests came over. One glance and suddenly you're 7 years old again. That's language too, by the way. Objects communicate without speaking. They tell us who we are, where we came from, what our people feared, what they protected, and what they valued. Every lucky charm is basically a cultural subtitle. And before anybody listening goes,
Okay, Priscilla, but these are just irrational little traditions.
yeah, well, let me tell you something. Even the most elite athletes on earth do this. Serena Williams famously wore the same pair of socks through an entire tournament while she was winning. Same socks, entire tournament. Shaquille O'Neal chewed exactly 4 pieces of big red gum before every game and stuck them under his seat before tip-off. Athletes do this constantly. Same meal before games. Same warm-up ritual. Same necklace. Same prayer. Same underwear. Same entrance routine. Why? Because humans are ritualistic creatures. And sports psychologists actually study this. There's research showing lucky objects and rituals can reduce anxiety and increase confidence through something called the placebo effect. But honestly, I think calling it just placebo misses the point. Because if something helps calm your nervous system, helps focus, helps you believe in yourself, then psychologically, the effect is real. Humans have always attached meaning to objects because, again, objects help us externalize control. And when life feels uncertain, people reach for ritual. I mean, that's true for athletes. That's true for grandmothers. That's true for gamblers, performers, students, musicians, literally everybody. We all have our little things. The chain you wear during important moments, the song you play before a date, the sweatshirt you refuse to throw away, the candle you light when life feels heavy. Humans don't just survive through logic. We survive through meaning. And straight up, maybe humans assign power to objects because being alive is terrifying. Maybe we need rituals. Maybe we need symbols. Maybe we need tiny reminders that we're protected somehow. And maybe that's why every culture created them independently. And not because humans are irrational, but because humans are emotional. We want to feel seen, guided, protected, connected. And objects help us externalize those feelings. The little bracelet, the old keychain, that tiny horn hanging in somebody's kitchen. They're never just things. They're memory, identity, protection, hope. So next time you catch yourself knocking on wood, or refusing to walk under a ladder, or keeping something sentimental for absolutely no reason, remember, You're participating in one of humanity's oldest languages, the language of meaning. If this episode brought back memories, traditions, or little superstitions you still carry, welcome home. This is Fluent AF. Thanks for listening. Dale.